Good morning. It's a Sunday morning. It's a miserable, cold Sunday morning, so it gives me an excuse not to go out. Mrs. Moustache has gone to a matinee, and so I've got the place to myself for a while, assuming the cat doesn't come in with some comments. So it's time for me to get down the big guns, the larger guitars that I have, that I use when I go out to perform, which hasn't been much lately, quite frankly. And so I like to take them down, tune them up, check them, change strings, whatever. So I thought I'd share them with you. It was 1996, I believe, when I was opening for a gentleman called Isaac Guillory. And I was having a bit of trouble with a Martin J40 that had a really skinny and shallow neck. And he lent me his Martin D35-S, which was a 12 fret wide fretboard guitar, 1 7/8 nut width, and it solved all my problems immediately. So I went in search for that, but it was another 3 years before I really found the answer to my problem, to my search. And I got a telephone call from a guy called Seamus Brady, who worked at the Acoustic Centre in Wapping in London, and he said, "Come up, I've got some things for you to see." I did. Oh, he also said, "Bring everything you could bear to part with in exchange." Cut a long story short, 2 12 fret dreadnought guitars had been shipped into the UK. I think they were the first ones to be commercially shipped in to the Acoustic Centre. Maybe one went up to Manchester or somewhere, the other one went to London. And he showed me this one, DS2h it was, and it looked remarkably like this. And it was just perfection for me. 1 13/16 nut and a 2 3/8 string spacing, 25.5-inch scale. Lots of power, lots of depth. And this one isn't the one, because that one, I parted company with that one, rather sadly, but I bought this one in 2011. I bought this used from eBay. I went up to collect it, and it was in a pretty bad shape, not cosmetically. Guy was busy spraying it with car polish when I arrived, and the action was ridiculously high, but I managed to get that sorted out with some challenges, and it's now beautiful. This is one of the ones that I would automatically go to first if I were going to play with a combo. Lovely guitar, very, very happy with it. Not getting enough exposure at the moment. A little while after that, I decided that I would like a mahogany one. That's a DS2h, D dreadnought, S standard, which means 12 fret, 2 means rosewood, back and sides, H herringbone. And I saw this one on eBay. Here it is, a DS1. D dreadnought, S standard, 1, mahogany back and sides. Sitka top, both of them, but this one came already with this beautiful suntan, and I don't believe it's because it got suntan or it's been shaded or anything like that. I believe it is just a dark piece of wood. This became my bluegrass guitar, playing with a 5-piece. Just had so much brute power. It's got nickel bronze strings on it, which is an experiment. I bought these to put on an arch top and then changed my mind at the last minute. And so I put them on here. I'm not sure whether I like them or not. But it's a beautiful guitar. It's never really had to have much done to it. I bought it, I was the only one that bid on it on eBay. and so I got it for the starting price, which upset the poor seller rather a lot, and then his grief was compounded because he had to pay twice as much to ship it to me as he anticipated. But I wrote to him afterwards and said it's been received in perfect condition, lovely guitar, thank you very much. And he said, yeah, and it cost me an awful lot more in shipping as well, so I sent him an extra £50. Very pleased with that guitar. When did I buy this one? It was in 2014. I bought myself, no, go the other way, 2012 I bought this. Not because I had intended to buy it, it was on eBay. I asked a few questions, but I decided not to pursue it. You know, no one needs two sets of the same thing, you know, that's silly, isn't it? This one has an Adirondack top and the sunburst. And if you're interested, and I wasn't terribly, it has a K&K True Mini and all that sort of stuff with it. A friend of mine bought it. A bit of a wheeler dealer. He bought it, then he contacted me and said, remember that Sunburst DS1? Yeah. He said, I've got it. He said, I've got a bit of a trade in it. Would you like to see it? Oh, all right. So he brought it over, and he left with some of my money, and I had this. I don't know why. I didn't really need it, but it's a beautiful guitar. It had been worked a lot before I had it, so there's some dents and dings and things like that, but you wouldn't know from a distance. I think the frets have been stoned once or twice, but it is so well played in. Yeah, lovely guitar. I feel very safe with this. 2012 I bought that. 2014, yes, now then. Gibson used to make, in 1934, at the same time as the original Jumbo came out, they also made a Hawaiian guitar called a Roy Smeck. It was a Hawaiian guitar made for a gentleman called Roy Smeck. And a few of these were sold just about as the Hawaiian craze was going out, sadly. But a chap called McAllister, luthier in the States called McAllister, and the famous Jackson Browne found one or two of these, and they converted them to ordinary, what they call Spanish playing. Here we are. And so it's a lovely neck on this. This is a Santa Cruz RS, not allowed to say Roy Smeck. I went and tried two of those Jackson Browne guitars by Gibson. They really didn't work. Presentation skills, finish skills, mooted tone didn't really work at all. Although I have to say that with a guitar 5 inches thick, the player doesn't always hear the beauty of the subtlety of the tone. If you want a bassy guitar. So I ordered a Husson Dalton DS12, 12 fret jumbo, with a slight customization as much as I wanted my 1 13/16 nut, and it arrived, it looked beautiful, and so much was wrong with the guitar. And we had a terrible fight and I lost a lot of money. Very disappointing. But I had seen Santa Cruz RS. I saw one in this country. I'd seen a couple of them online. And I kept an eye on one. And I decided to buy it. It'd been hanging up in a dealer's in New England and New Hampshire, I think. And I hummed and ahed about it for some weeks, and then I decided I was going to ring him up and order it and get him to ship it over. And I rang him up and he said, I've just sold it. It's been on the wall for 2 years and I've just sold it. Oh, okay. But it's all right, you can order a new one in your own spec. Yeah, okay, I'll think about that. About a month later, it turned up on eBay, American eBay, and the guy said it gave him so much pain with his shoulder, with his thickness, that he couldn't handle it. And he very kindly sent it to me in the UK. Arrived in perfect condition. And it was quite tight initially, but it isn't tight now. It's the G chord makes me smile. Beautiful sound. Slab head, not a slotted headstock, but I make exceptions on occasions. So there we are. These are my 4 big guns. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's it. And that's enough for any man, really, isn't it? Especially for a guy that's not using them as much as I would like. But there we are. Ask me questions. Send queries. I like to answer them. And if I can help you at all with your guitar journey by one-to-one Zoom lessons, I have a couple of vacancies at the moment. If you have been, thanks for watching. Bye.